Hi friends, my name is Maruti and I'm the co-founder of Cracku. In this video, I'll be discussing some of the mistakes that students make in their CAT preparation. And I'll tell you 5 mistakes that you should definitely avoid while preparing for CAT. The first common mistake that students make is not taking mocks until the very end. And this is one of the most common mistakes that students make. Sometimes people feel that they haven't completed the syllabus and so they postpone taking mocks. Sometimes people have this paranoia or phobia about an examination and then they don't take mocks. But the way in which I think students should approach mocks is to believe that by taking mocks, the preparation will be more efficient. When you're taking mocks, you know intuitively what are the important topics and what are not the important topics. You will know what are your areas of strength and what are your areas of weakness. So when you're preparing next time, you will know that, okay, these are important topics, I'll focus more time on it. Or you'll know that, okay, these are the topics I'm not doing well and I'll put in more effort on it. So this would ensure that when you're preparing, your preparation is more efficient. By taking mocks, even the paranoia or phobia that you might have about taking an examination will go down with time. And even if you don't score well, that is fine. There will be more impetus or more incentive for you to put in the effort to increase your mock scores. That also will be very beneficial for you. The second common mistake is focusing only on areas of strength and avoiding the weaker areas. This is done by many students. They only do things that they're comfortable with and they avoid the weaker areas or the areas they're not comfortable with. For example, I personally know one student who was very good at quant, but he was scared of verbal. And he stopped taking verbal sectionals altogether. He stopped spending any time on verbal because it was just giving him this negative reinforcement. His scores in the mocks were low in verbal section. If he was taking a verbal sectional, the scores were low. So he just stopped working on verbal. And whenever he was taking a quant section, his scores were good and he was getting positive reinforcement. Finally, he ended up scoring 99 percentile in quant, but he got in single digits in verbal. What is the point of that? Remember that the lowest hanging fruit is always your area of weakness. So for example, if there is some person who is doing well in quant, say he's scoring around 30 marks, and doing very poorly in verbal, say he's scoring 0 marks. For that person to get 10 additional marks, it is always easier in verbal. That is, going from 0 to 10 in verbal is much easier than going from 30 to 40. The lowest hanging fruit or the area where you're getting the most marks with least amount of effort is always your area of weakness. So if you're struggling in any particular section or in any particular topic, focus on that first. Because that is where the maximum utility will be there. That is where you'll score marks. That is where you can increase marks the fastest. So always focus first on any area you're really struggling with. That will help you increase your marks much faster. The third common mistake I would say that students make is resigning from their job while preparing for CAT. And so many students ask me this question pretty often. They ask me whether they should resign from their job. And in most cases, I ask them to not resign. The reason for that is very simple. If you have resigned from your job and if you're sitting at your home while preparing for the examination, over the course of a few months, your mental health will be affected. Again, on the day of the examination, there will be more pressure on you. You don't know what you'll do if the examination doesn't go well. You don't have a plan B. That will ensure that your performance on the day of the examination can also be subpar. In addition to all of this, I'll give you 2 other reasons why I don't think you should resign from your job. The first reason is having more work X will give you work X points. Your profile will look better. So the CAT percentile that is needed to get the MBA calls will be lesser for a student with work experience as compared to somebody without work experience. So the more time you work, the lesser will the CAT percentile that you will need to have. Another reason why I would recommend students to have work X is because in most of the MBA colleges, the pedagogy is through case studies. So a case is given to you where they discuss a particular corporation. They'll say that a particular corporation was facing some particular problem. It can be a human resource problem, it can be a marketing problem, it can be something or the other. And then you are asked to do what you will do if you're in the place of the CEO. That is how a case study would work, and many times students discuss. So somebody with work X can relate to the case better. That person can say that, okay, a similar problem has happened in my company or a related problem has happened in my company and they reacted in this particular way. My X company maybe performed poorly or my X company performed well in a similar situation. Now a fresher or somebody without work X would find all of this theoretical. So what you gain from the MBA itself will depend on what your past experiences are. So I would always recommend students to have work X before they do their MBA. This is another reason why I would strongly recommend you to not resign from your job to prepare for CAT. If you have already resigned or if you feel that, okay, my job is very hectic, then I would say that if you have more than 2 years or 3 years work experience, you have sufficient work experience that has already been accumulated, then I would say it is okay for you to resign. But I would really recommend freshers or people with just around 1 year work X to definitely not resign while preparing for CAT. The fourth issue I would discuss is stress, negativity, mental health. All of these are valid concerns of students. Many of you might be working in a different city away from your family. And CAT preparation also has its ups and downs. 1 week you'll do well in a mock and another week your mock score might be terrible. You might be having additional stress in work. You might be having some issues in your relationship. Even in tough times, tell yourself that something good is around the corner. Because you should know how to motivate yourself. Only when you're able to motivate yourself will you be able to motivate others. And one of the key aspects of being a manager is the ability to motivate others. A motivated person works more. A motivated person achieves more. Being motivated will ensure that you achieve your dreams better and avoid negativity. There are many subreddits which just demotivate people. Avoid them. Be in a good mental space in your preparation. If possible, be part of a small WhatsApp group of CAT aspirants who are able to motivate each other. Another thing I would tell you is try to pace your journey such that you don't get burnt out by August or September. In September, you should not feel that, okay, when is this exam going to get over? Because that is not a good mental state to be. In September, you should tell yourself that, okay, I put in so much hard work, my preparation is going well, I am looking forward to doing very well in the examination. I want to show the world how much I have worked hard. That is a good mental state to be in. So try to ensure that you pace your journey well, you ensure that this is a long journey, you still have around 6 to 7 months. Ensure that you don't get burnt out in the middle. On the day of the examination, you should be very excited to show the world how much you have prepared. The last tip I would give you, or the last mistake I want you to avoid, is getting distracted by profile worries. Nobody's profile is perfect. You might have a good profile, you might have a bad profile. But everybody, even somebody who you think has a very good profile, also has insecurities. That person also will find somebody else who has a better profile than them. Another way to look at it is your profile is something that cannot be changed. Your 10th score, 12th score, most likely your undergraduation score, all of them are already done. You can't do anything about it. But remember that to get into a good institute, good MBA institute in the country, if you're looking at the selection criteria for the top MBA institutes in the country, by far the most important component is CAT percentile. All of that is in your hands. Try to focus on what is in your hands and try to ace CAT. Try to inculcate good habits. Good habits like discipline, focus, consistency, determination. These kind of habits will ensure that your performance on the day of the examination will be definitely better. CAT is still very, very important for MBA selection. All of that is in your hands. The only thing that cannot be changed, there's no point in worrying too much about it. So avoid negativity, avoid all of these profile worries, focus on what can be done. Before ending the video, I'll give you 2 other videos which I think will be very useful for you. Both of them will be in the cards over here. The first one is a 6-month study plan for CAT. There are around 6 months left. And if you stick to this schedule, I think you'll get a good idea about how to pace your CAT preparation. The second one, which is viewed by lakhs of people, is the complete quant revision. In 2 videos in complete quant, we have revised the entire syllabus for quant and it is liked by thousands of people. I'm sure that they will be very useful for you. So check out both the videos. If you have any doubts with respect to any of the things that I said or with respect to your CAT preparation, please do comment below this video. I look at all the comments and I'll try to respond to them to the best of my ability. In addition to it, please do subscribe to this channel and please click on the bell icon.